Hey, I'm Major Clinton Beecham at Camp Arif John Kuwait, and I just want to wish a happy Father's Day to my dad, Robert Beecham, in Sumter, South Carolina.
Across the country and around the world on Armed Forces Radio, it's Bob and Sherry.
It is time now for the People's Movie Critic, and today he is reviewing a Netflix show that we could all bet money on, Bob never wanting to watch, and none of us would lose a dime. It's Sweet Tooth. Hey, Lamar.
Hey, listen, I'm not that far away from Bob. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to describe to you a Netflix series that I have absolutely no interest in watching. It would be one that is set 10 years after what they call the Great Crumble that happened after a global pandemic. Society as we know it fell apart. Now, at that point, I'm definitely out. I can't get away from the pandemic now. Why do I want to watch a series about it? I'm living in it. I don't want to do that. Now, during the middle of this pandemic, babies were being born that were a mixture of human and animal. They called them hybrids. The star of this show is a little half boy, half deer with antlers and deer ears. If I had made it past the pandemic part, the deer boy would have had me going out the door for sure. Okay, I'm not watching this.
I'm with you.
But the show must go on, and not seeing anything else interesting, I started watching it. And I'm really glad that I did.
No.
Now, for the record, I have been wrong many times about many things. I can't give you an accurate number. You'd have to ask my wife, Carla. She keeps a spreadsheet, okay? But this is one of the few times I've been so glad to be so wrong. This is a great show, and it has every reason not to be. Mm-hmm. The deer boy is named Gus, and he's played by Christian Convery. And he and his dad, Pooba, who's played by Will Forte, live out in the woods. Now, Pooba warns Gus to never go outside the fence because the world is a terrible place where people will hate him. And they have this really good thing growing up as he's growing, for years. They live out there in the woods, and he's teaching him everything, and it's just awesome. And all this is great until they are discovered, and Gus is left alone to survive. Now, he goes outside the fence in search of his long-lost mother. He meets up with Jep, who is a huge ex-football player, now a survivor, played by Nonzo Anzonis. And he is a really rough, not nice guy who has done some very terrible things to survive. He hates kids and wants nothing to do with Gus. So in the movie world, that guarantees that Gus and Jep will be the best of friends. And each will learn life lessons from each other. Yeah, I know, it's very corny sounding, but if you manage to get it right, and executive producers Robert Downey Jr. and his wife Susan did get it right, it's an awesome experience. Because it's a mixture of stories. There's 2 or 3 different storylines going on. You've got villains hunting down hybrids because they think they caused the pandemic. They got villains hunting hybrids because doctors are doing research on them to try to find a cure because for some reason they don't get sick. You've got neighborhood parties where everyone at the party is watching each other looking for that spasm of the pinky finger that shows that they have it. Now, when that pinky finger spasm shows up, the HOA chairperson calls for their immediate death and their house and possessions are burned down to ashes so it doesn't spread. Finally, a homeowners association with teeth. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. She was my HOA representative, I think, a few years ago.
Now, the episodes are between 40 and 50 minutes each. It's rated TV 14. This may or may not be for you. And like I said, I was positive it wasn't for me. But 30 minutes into the first episode, I was hooked. Now, there's, of course, a lot of darkness in the subject matter, but there's also a lot of humor and plenty of sweetness. Now, not that lose-a-toe sweetness, but the right balance of sweetness, okay? I mean, they've got this thing right. I'm telling you, it is a good show. Get past it, Bob. I know you're never going to even think about it.
I'm not going to watch it.
Try to get past it.
I want the kid with the horns. I'm done.
But I love it. I love it. My score on this is 4 solid Budweisers. I'm shocked. I'm really shocked.
I am so glad that you loved it, Lamar, because everyone that watches it loves it. And I just thought, let the People's Movie Critic be part of that.
It's awesome.
Why is the kid having antlers such a deal killer for you, Bob?
Somebody who wears a T-shirt that I find offensive in a restaurant is a deal killer for me.
Oh yeah, my bad.
So I'm supposed to look at a kid coming in with horns in his head.
I forgot that. Yeah, when we say to Bob, "It's a small world after all," we mean something different. Yeah, my bad. Yeah. I apologize.
His threshold is low.
4 Buds for Sweet Tooth on Netflix. The People's Movie Critic likes. We'll be back with more. It's Bob and Sherry.
Welcome to the Bob and Sherry store. You can stock up for summer with deals down every aisle. With Bob and Sherry swag you can use, including a really big 24-ounce Bob and Sherry latte mug, plus Bob and Sherry travel mugs and H2O Go bottles, plus our brand new Mother of All Mothers line with oversized tees, candles, enormous tote bags, and more. Just hit shop at bobandsherry.com.
Line up aisle 4.